Today is Wednesday night. It's 2 a.m. Just got home from work. And here's a look at our floor. So here's the substrate material. It's called Detra. It has like octopus suction cups on it. And this is what they run the heater wire in for the heated floor. So it snaps into this. And then they put thin set over it. And then once that's all set, they put the tiles on top of that. So here's a part that's exposed. I think maybe they ran out of thin set. So they stop right there. So there's the edge, but this goes all the way across. All the way out there. And all the way back across this way. This is the base for the tiles. Here's the Detra material right here. So it's kind of a plastic material with a felt pack. And that piece there is going to be over for the bathroom. We're going to do the bathroom next. So let's go take a look over there. So here we are in the bathroom. They haven't put the Detra down yet. This is still the subfloor. But he has put the bedding in for the shower base. So that looks like it still needs to dry. That looks like a float coat to get it nice and flat. And somewhere in there is the drain hole I cut last night. So I probably have the drill it from the bottom up to open that back up. And here's the hot and cold weather pipe that goes into the shower manifold, which is going to mount on that board. I got to pad that out another 1/2 inch. And here's the shower head up there. So if we look over here, see some wires coming out of the floor. This is for the controller for the thermostat that runs the floor. So that gets attached to the wires down here at some point. So I have a controller on each side of the wall, one for the bathroom control and one for the kitchen control. So let me give you a swipe across. Those are all our kitchen cabinets ready to be installed. And here's the floor. So it looks like they're ready to start putting tile down. So this is the Schluter Detra heat pad. This is what was wrapped around it. So here's a close-up image of how that works. So the wires for the heating goes inside of those little, like, notched in there, and then you have your thin set, and on top of that you have your tile. So here's some more images on the back of this pamphlet thing. So there's them, the technician put down a thin set, and then they roll out the Detra pad, and then they kind of stomp it down with the trowel, make sure it's engaged with the thin set. Then they run the wire inside of the little areas that they can snap into. Then they take an electronic device and make sure they have continuity on the whole shebang. And then the tiles go over top of it. So here's kind of a look at that. Kind of in the different layers. So to the left is the thin set. The Detra's in the middle, that's your orange stuff. And then the thin set and the tile is on the right. And here's it showing it kind of on the subfloor how it'll look if you have those engineered beams. Kind of like the same thing. So, pretty interesting. There's the overall look of this stuff. My next objective is to install this drain pipe. I have it mocked up here on the bench, but I need to clear the bench so I have a nice work surface so I can get this done correctly. As you can see, my once pristine workbench is a disaster area once again. So first thing I'm going to do is clean this area up so I have a nice workspace, and then I'll go from there. So what I did was I scribed some witness marks on this board adjacent to the outside edge of this hole, and I divided that dimension in half, and I got a center line which is right there. So I drew a center line all the way down the top of the joist with a witness mark on the left and right sides. It's kind of like, so when I look up, I can make sure the pipe's parallel to all those lines, so I know I got a straight run going from this drain hole. You can see I also scribed the witness marks down the blocking and on top of the pipe. So that's the center line of the pipe right here. So the fitting I need to put in is called a long 90. So that's going to have to go here. But there's also witness marks on the pipe. So that's the witness mark that I'm going to use on the pipe. So that mark there, that little divot that I'm focusing on right now, has to be in line with that line in the middle there. So now that I know it's to the end of the pipe, I can measure over here and make a mark, and then I go, so I would mark that horizontal pipe where the end of the fitting is, and add 3/4 of an inch for the indent on this. So that's how you can be meticulous about your alignment. So I'm going to do that next, but prior to that I have to support this pipe, because once I cut the pipe and this support comes off, the pipe's going to droop. I have a couple of those, and I'll put a band there, and that'll hold this pipe in position so it doesn't drop down. So I want to just make sure I got my pitch correct on this pipe, get that all locked in before I cut anything here and attach anything. I want to make sure this horizontal run is adhering to the pitch that I need. The thing I need to do is measure this. So I'm going to measure from the center of where I'm going to have my curve. So there's 3 feet there, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 feet dropping a 1/4 inch each foot is 2 inches. 2 inches of drop. So if I look here, this is already set to 2 inches. Okay, and this is flush. So we already have our correct pitch, but this is loose, so I want to put a strap here to hold that up. Now checking from here down, let's see what we got. And another way to do it is put a level on there and make sure that the bubble is, like, we want it to be higher on that end. So if I do this, yeah, the bubble's all the way to the right hand side. Now we can do the same thing here. And this one's actually a little bit flat, so what I'll need to do is just take like another 1/2 inch off of this end and drop this pipe down slightly. So that's real easy to do. That's not a big deal, but I want to get this one knocked in first. Okay, so let me get a strap, and we'll put that there to hold this loose pipe from moving. All right, so now, so that's solid right there. Okay, now I gotta screw that in. So same as before. That's good. There we go. That's solid. So we're supported on this end and the opposite end. And everything's happy here. This is the center line for the way that where the pipe's going to run, which coincides with the top of this. So what I have to do is measure from this end the inside of that lip where the pipe is going to slide in. So the dimension from here to there is 5 1/4. So I marked that out, 5 1/4 with that Sharpie. Now here's the trick on how, when you're going to cut this, you want it straight. Take a flat piece of paper, cut it so it's the same diameter, and when you wrap it, it's going to meet up. So now you know you're going to draw a straight line all the way around this pipe. So you just trace it like that, and then you know when you cut it, you can see that you're cutting it straight. So now when I cut that, this is 3/4 of an inch deep. Let's double check that. Yep. So when this hits the beginning of the pipe, it's going to go an additional 3/4 of an inch, and it'll end up right there, which will put this pipe right where I want it. Now another thing you can do to make sure your pipe's fully engaged is mark where you're going to cut it and mark where how far it's going to slide in, so you have kind of a visual indication of where it should end up. So right there. So that's where the flange of the pipe is going to slide onto this. So just to give myself a visual witness mark, so I know that it's going where I want it to go. There we go, like that. Okay, so just running this by you, myself and you guys, so we don't screw this up. So I'm not cutting it here. This is the center line of the run. It has to go that way. I'm going to cut it here, and when I glue the pipe, it's going to slide in and hit that line there. So it'll end up being in this position. So this will be the center line of that pipe, and it's going to carry on that way. There might be a little bit of water in here. So, gotta clean that up. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so all cleaned up. Now what I want to do is test fit. 90 should end up going in to there. That's as far as it should go. Okay, so that's where it goes. Now in here, okay, and then this will butt up against this way like that. Okay, got everything lined up, cut and fitted. I just got to glue it together, so we're all set now. All set up, perfectly aligned. Okay, all right, it's time for the glue up. So first thing is this fitting here. I have witness marks, so I know where to line it up. So first things first is I take it down. So first thing we do is we get to use the primer. Inside, outside, that's the primer. Now we use the glue. So glue goes on the outside, inside of this and the outside of that. There's the glue. There's the glue. So this goes together like that. You get a little twist. I'm going to hold it right up to that witness mark and hold it for a few seconds while that finishes off. Okay, now I have this, which is going to be the clean out. So that's going to go right in here like that. So let's see, that's next. So there's the inside of this is called a long 90. And I'm just recycling this clean out. This is what was on there before, so I can use that a second time. go. Put some glue on that. And some glue in there. This is the easy part once everything's fitted. Okay. Oh, here comes Mom with some water. Hopefully we don't get anything dripping down over here. Better keep this here just in case. I can hear the water. I think we're safe. Yep. Alright. That's what's nice about a long 90. Once the water comes down, it kind of shoots it that way. If I had a T, it would go in both directions. Alright. So now what we want to do is strap this. That gives it support. Alright, be careful, I don't drip this stuff all over myself. Alright, this is the primer. Some is good, more is better, too much is just right. Glue. PVC glue. Oh. Another dip. Coverage. Alright, put this together and then spin it and hold it at witness marks right here, this horizontal mark. So I'll let that hold that a second while it dries. That's one of the key things you got to do, because that's a tapered fit, and if you let go it'll kind of push back out a little bit. Alright, now I got to strap this. Make sure that'll hold it up. That'll hold it to that strapping up there. Okay. There we go. So it's locked in place. First we do the primer. Right there like that. Primer on this. So I'm priming that. Then we're going to put the glue on. Put glue in there. Glue right there. There we go. Make sure we're all spread nicely. Okay. So I'm going to put this in, and I got to make sure that we're level. There we go. I don't know if you can see that bubble in there. All right. Hold that. Okay. Golden. Let's get this going here. So we got primer right here. Primer in there. Inside of this. This is the matching piece. And we put the glue on. Right now I'm putting it on the inside of this elbow. This one goes right here. Make sure I got good coverage with the glue. Alright, now let's put it together. Hit the witness mark, and there we go. Just got to hold that there for an appropriate amount of time. And we are completely and totally perfectly lined up. Now whatever whatever Manny has for fitting up top, I have to wait until I see what that is before I glue this in. All right, so I'm just gonna let that stay like that. Now what I have to do up top, put a cap on that, because I don't want to get any sewer gases up here, because this trap doesn't have any water in it yet. So I'll cap the top of this. Okay, I found a service cap. This should be fine for what I need to do. I just want to cap this pipe. So it just held on with a hose clamp. So it goes over the end like that. And you tighten the hose clamp up. Like that. See, and it caps it. And I'll go put it on the elbow. Okay, so I'll just put it in here like this. And just put it down tight. So there we go. So this is capped, so no sewer gases can get out, and we're good to go here. Let me give you an overall look at everything. Okay, there we go. We're all set, folks. So there's the part that I glued on. This is a long 90. I kept the clean out, so if we gotta flush that out, we can do that. Those are the witness marks, those horizontal lines. The ones that go around the pipe is the full depth of the fitting, which is 3/4. So here's where I strapped it. And here, witness marks. There's a witness mark there. And here's the part that goes up to where the bathroom is. So this whole thing, I can just take it out like that. And depending what kind of fitting is coming down there, I can make an appropriate connection. But for now, I just wanted to cap that. So we're all set. So let me turn all my lights off. I'm gonna call it a night. Jane's coming home with some Chinese food. So I turn off all my lights. All right, so everything's off. So here's, let me show you the workspace. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, things are everywhere. So here's the remains of, I put this stuff together later. I gotta get cleaned up and go to work. But here's the tool. The immaculate tool bench is back in disarray. It's not in too bad a shape though, but that's okay. Sometimes when you work, you just got to make a mess.